All right, welcome to the first edition of the Big Vol'n podcast on the field of 68. And no better first guest than my man, CeeLo, Chris Lofton. How are you, man?
I'm good, man. Glad to be here. It's been a while. I haven't talked to you in a long time. What's been up?
I know, this is sad. We've texted, but I hadn't seen that beautiful face and that beard in some time. You've been doing the COVID-19 shave, I see.
So. Right, for sure.
Catch us all up real quick, man. So where are you right now, and what's new in the basketball world? You hadn't hung them up just yet. You hadn't retired, but I'm sure those hamstrings are getting a little bit sore on you.
For sure. It's a lot of stretching going on these days, let me tell you. I'm here in Lexington right now, just trying to figure out, hopefully around January, I'll go back and play somewhere. Probably 1 or 2 more years, and, plan is like to try to get into coaching somewhere, so we'll see. But, right now just training, working out, and just trying to stay away from this virus.
Yeah. So as you're sitting there in Lexington, let's start there. I mean, does a day go by that you don't walk in Lexington and they say, man, how'd you not come to Kentucky? How did we not recruit you? I mean, that's got to be the most common thing you hear in Lexington, right?
Yeah, I hear it a lot. I still hear it today, just talking about, I can't believe Tubby didn't recruit you. I get it a lot, actually, more than you think. I mean, it's almost 2021, and 2004, and people still say that,
But, now the Kentucky fans might not give him a pass at all. My defense for Tubby is nobody else was recruiting your ass either.
Right, you know what I'm saying? And another thing,
it's not like everybody else in the Power Five was sending you letters. So take us back real quick. Who were? I mean, you were recruiting mid to high, and you had a couple fields. Was it Cincinnati was probably your biggest one that was on you?
Cincinnati, Louisville, a little bit earlier.
Yeah,
I was earlier. But another thing, I mean, Kentucky already had the number 1 recruiting class already, so it was like they don't need me. They had Rondo, Ramel Bradley, Randolph Morris, Joe Crawford. Who else? I'm missing one. But those are the main 4. So it's like, do we need Chris? Not really.
And wasn't it? I know Louisville early on, but if I'm not mistaken, Cincinnati was the closest that you had an offer. And my guy and become a good friend now through the SEC Network, who's now at UAB. But Andy Kennedy was recruiting you, right, at Cincinnati? Was that?
It was really Keith Legree first.
Yeah.
Keith Legree was his name. But I think Andy came in the next year, and they just, they just had other plans. They had another, I forget the guard's name they had instead of me.
Yeah. So then, I mean, the visits that you had before Tennessee picked up on you late, because we had a guy, a scholarship open up. I mean, you got to get Tennessee, Coach Ferg, Buzz, all those guys credit for finding you, even if it was late. But you're going off that summer and all types of all-star games and everything else. We had a scholarship open up. But really the visits before Tennessee were where?
Arkansas State and Valparaiso.
Were you close to committing to any of those before Tennessee came calling? Or what was your plan?
Not really. I was honestly, I didn't know. I always wanted to go, SEC, ACC, bigger conference. Yeah. But, I don't know if I would have. There was a team in Kentucky, Georgetown, Kentucky, NAIA, and they were on me pretty hard. And I was just like, maybe I'll just stay around here and go there,
Wow, really?
Yeah. So I was like, but it was,
And that is a good NAIA program. But to think that you were literally thinking, maybe I'll just stay right here and ball out NAIA, and Tennessee comes along.
Yeah, it was, John Winchester ended up transferring.
That's right. Yeah.
It opened up. And so what happened, my senior year in the state tournament, we played against a team called Wayne County, and their coach played at Tennessee in the 60s. And I guess after the game, I had a pretty good game. He called Buzz and one of the assistants and was like, I got a kid you need to take a look at. And the next thing, Buzz and Ferg came to Maysville, watched me play pickup. And the next week, I was in Knoxville on a Monday, just, visiting the school. Because it was this is late March. So, time's running out. So this all happened so fast. And they were like, we got a scholarship for you. And I was like, I'm coming, I'm signing,
Yeah, but it's not like Tennessee fans will remember you hitting the ground running as soon as you laced them up. From their standpoint, I mean, they just saw you, dropping threes on everybody. It didn't matter if it was your freshman year, or senior year; it was everything in between. But from your teammate standpoint, when Mr. Kentucky, Mr. Basketball of Kentucky came in, you didn't have like the greatest start ever. Like you came in. Yeah. And your footwork wasn't good. You were shooting layups like off the wrong foot. And then you had a setback. You had like a little hernia surgery or something.
Yeah. Appendicitis.
So then you were out a couple weeks. You came back rusty.
It was like the worst. It was like the worst start to my freshman year.
Hey, let me tell you, nobody was looking over their shoulder at Chris Lofton. And then all of a sudden you get back healthy though. And I gotta share this with the fans because I don't have a very good freshman year. So this is my sophomore year, man. I've been eating good. I've been training hard. I've been so disciplined. And it was going to be like the lineup really was going to be CJ Watson at the 1, Scooter McFadden at the 2. I was going to be at the 3, and like Andre Patterson or Jameer at the 4, Major Wingate at the Brandon Crump was Crump at the 5. And so then all of a sudden you get healthy and we're doing individuals and like I've never seen you play. So you're hitting some shots that to me were like, man, that's some lucky BS. But then the lucky BS just happened day after day after day. And I'm sitting there, you were talking about Coach Ferg, our assistant coach that recruited you, his son, who's now on Winthrop staff, Lil Ferg, as we know him, but Brian Clement and others. I'm playing the games with Ferg and Pee Wee, and we're playing video games, and they're all in on Chris Lofton. And I'm getting mad because they're like, and this the game, but their credit, they're like, hey, he's going to be the next Allen Houston, and this and that. Pee Wee's real good on the video games, too, so he's beat me in the PlayStation. He's telling me about how CeeLo's about to take that spot and all this. I'm ready to fight. And so, sure enough, you kept hitting shots, the exhibition games, still making buckets, and you're starting. And then we went to to your credit, you were still kind of passive, right? You were still deferring. You were the freshman.
Yeah, I was a freshman. I didn't want to step on people's toes. Like I was just.
But I got my moment in mind when you really just kind of said, "Screw it! If I'm the best player, I'm going to be the best player." But when was that moment for you?
Let me think. Well, I've always had that confidence that, when I got there my freshman year, like I was just like, my mindset was like, I'm about to take over. Nobody wanted me, so I'm going to be a gym rat. I'm going to work hard. I'm just going to be the best, at Tennessee. That was my mindset, the whole time I was there. I forget what game it was. I think it was like the first game North Carolina when I had like 20 against North Carolina in Maui, and I was on ESPN. I was like, okay, yeah, this is it. This is it. So that was probably the moment when I was like, man, I can play at a high level.
Yeah, I almost gave you a hint. You came around to my same answer because we went out there and there was a lot of pressure on our team that year. It was because we had a lot of guys coming back. We had a good recruiting class, all that. And we go out to the Maui Invitational. And remember, we beat Stanford in the first game.
Yeah.
They were a pretty good team. They had the white kid, point guard Hernandez or somebody. I don't know, but he was like a big matchup, and C.J. Watson just balled out on him. So we beat Stanford. Now we got North Carolina coming up, and they had Rashad McCants, Sean May. I mean, this was national title, North Carolina, but we were feeling confident. Man, we were getting smacked out of the day. But it was like nobody. I'm not going to say we quit or laid down, but that we just didn't have a good identity as a team. We didn't have great leadership from within there of just amongst the roster and the upperclassmen at times. And so that to me is when it was around the second half where we were already down 20 or something. And I think you hit 1 3 and then hit another one. And then it was like, I mean, screw it. What do I got to lose? And all of a sudden it was Rashad McCants, Raymond Felton. It didn't matter who was on you. And from that point on, we were sitting there and everybody was like mad. We just took this L by so much, but everyone was looking around like, hey, this CeeLo dude just went off on the Maui Invitational.
Yeah, man, there's so many funny stories from that Maui Invitational. We can't talk about it here.
No, we did always have the greatest discipliner culture as a team. we did what we could, and so from that point on, Durant, this is all your freshman year. You become the leading scorer, the go-to player, even though again we had a bunch of talent. So when I say 8 game, what do you think of?
When you say what?
If I'm a coach calling the play 8 game, what do you think of?
8 game.
You don't remember 8 game? It was that same play we ran for you at Arkansas.
Oh, when I kept running baseline? Oh, yeah, 8 game. I forgot about that, yes. Bro, I couldn't move. I was so tired.
But I didn't, because I was just over there on the top swinging it back and forth. You were going about to run unconscious.
8 game. I forgot that. Yeah, I remember the play. Yeah, because if you remember that, I don't know if he was in the huddle. Well, we kept running that play, and I was playing good that game. And I was like, Buzz, I can't breathe. Can I just get a break for like a minute? He was like, you want to come out? You're tired? I'm like, I can't. I barely can stand up. I'm like, we're running the same play for 10 straight possessions.
Oh man, I know, because we had 2 guards up front. It was CJ and me, and then we had 2 guys on the block. And basically, it was just treating you like Reggie Miller.
Yeah, just running back
2 or 3 times in a row, maybe even more than that. You were going off. You were keeping us in it. We're on the road at Arkansas, and it was like the coach was just like, "Hey, let's keep running every time down the court. 8 games." And then, but you asked for the breather. You came to the huddle. And again, you're a freshman, so I mean, no freshman's in the greatest condition of their life. It doesn't matter if it was Rip Hamilton running those; he was going to be tired. And you're in there. It's about 2 minutes left in the game. We're at a timeout, and it was a critical point. And you go, "Hey, Buzz, I need one. I need one."
Like, like one possession, just one possession is all I'm asking. I didn't say keep me out, just like one possession. Like, I mean, I couldn't breathe. I was tired.
He looked at you, and then he looks at Chad Newman, our trainer, like, "Let's do some game life." Like,
and Chad always says, he says, I got him cussed out in Arkansas. He always says that still today. Chad says that.
Hey, well, now you know the name of the play, because I just and we lost that game too, unfortunately. But it was through no fault of us not trying 8 game enough. But you know what's funny? You mentioned. I want all the fans, if they don't know already, just what a great teammate, good sense of humor you had on all this. But like, you come in, because a lot of the upperclassmen, they might not take it too well, even though like you were impossible not to like, but still like you're starting to become the star. And you remember this one too, when it was after the game. I think we were at my apartment. I was rooming with Andre Patterson, and
I already know.
So I'm going to talk to our audience here. Y'all got to realize. So Chris just went off. I don't know what team it was against. I don't know if it was a big game or not, but like he went off, and it was like 4 or 5 threes in a row. Y'all seen this story before with him. And so, and all of a sudden Andre admitted while we were at the apartment, and Chris was right there playing video games, ordering pizza, whatever. He was like, "I won't lie, CeeLo. I was getting so heated. I was jealous when that ball came to me. I kicked it out to you. You were wide open.
Threw a bad pass on purpose.
I threw the ball at your feet on purpose, just hoping that you would miss that SOP. And you still hit it." He goes, "That's why I knew I just need to give up. It's not going to be my team. It's Chris Lofton's town now."
Yeah, I remember that.
Yeah. Old Dre. So then so we lose in the SEC tournament to Kentucky after Clint Azubuike dunks on me.
Where you couldn't breathe.
If you want to tell your rendition of that story, you can. But
I just remember you telling us after the game where you couldn't breathe.
Well,
yeah, I remember like seeing it. I was like, whoa. But remember, Azubuike was huge. Like I was like, man, his weight program. I was like, he is huge. And I remember after the game, he was like, I couldn't breathe.
So this podcast isn't about me, but I'll tell one more story on that. Was, we're about to, Buzz is on the hot seat. If we don't win that game, we're out. And so I come in the game, backup point guard. They press us. Somebody turns it over. It was probably me. But I'm running back. And instead of just letting Azubuike go up and dunk, I'm like, you know what? let me at least make them earn it, send them to the free throw line. He just put his forearm in my neck and dunked on me. And they didn't even call it a foul. Like, I didn't call it. I was trying to foul. They didn't even call it. And so somebody takes the ball out and coach is trying to call a play. And I literally can't get the words out of my mouth. I'm like, and that was the last game under Buzz. So anyway, with that said, like a lot of us, we didn't have any other options. It was just, all right, whoever's going to be our next coach is going to be our next coach and hope they keep us. And I remember being scared because they said, hey, the rumors were Bobby Knight was coming. I don't know if you remember. But you actually had options. Like, what went through your mind as, you know, the season came to a close and I'm sure people were calling you and everything else?
Yeah, I was in and out. Louisville, Kentucky, Cincinnati was calling me. So it was probably going to be between Louisville and Cincy, I would say, you know, just because I remember Cincinnati was recruiting me and I love the fact they had that Jordan Gear contract. So that was always, you know, in the back of my mind. And Cincinnati was close to home. It was like an hour and 15 minutes away from. So it was like I was close to home. My family could see me. And, you know, Cincinnati and Louisville, my family was a big Louisville fans growing up. So that was the option. But, you know, when Bruce got the job and, you know, I figured out I'd have to sit out a whole year, it was just like, you know, and, you know, Bruce came in and he had to talk with me about his offense and how the two guards were so important. And it was just, you know, I had to stay.
Yeah, that's a great point because it wasn't like today's world where, I mean, forget the COVID, even before COVID, so many transfers are getting approved right away. Like you could have easily, gotten a waiver and been playing right away. Back then, you were sitting out a year.
Yeah, wasn't no negotiating, nothing. You were out the whole year.
Yeah. But even before that, though, I mean, desperate times seek for desperate measures. And when guys are trying to stay on staff or whatever, I won't make you mention any names, but you got to take me back. You got to take me back to your meeting with our athletic director when you were considering transferring. And it wasn't just you in the meeting, but, you know, there was maybe another member of the staff that felt like he needed to be in that meeting also.
Yeah. You know, it was a meeting like unplanned. I didn't know nothing about it. You know, it was a weird meeting. Just like I was like, what's going on in here? And you know,
like you didn't even know you were going at the time. It was Mike Hamilton's office, so you were just told, "Hey, be at Mike Hamilton's office."
Yeah. You know, and told about staying and being persuasive about staying, and you know, it was real weird. You know, it was like weird. I didn't know what was going on, but then I finally put it together what was going on. You know.
So I'll clarify since you don't want to. I won't say any names. But basically, somebody said, "Hey, if I don't stay on, or if I don't keep my job, Chris is transferred, right?" And you're looking over like, what? Like, are we a package deal I don't even know about?
Yeah, man, that was funny.
Well, that's something I should have tried to do too. That, hey, man, if y'all keep my job, Chris is going with me. But all right, so Bruce comes in. He got 2-guard play. He sells you on all that. But and I mean, he's everybody always asks me, like, when did y'all buy in? Like, for me, I bought in really quick. I mean, just based on the evidence of play, the energy of the practices. I mean, we didn't have to see results against opponents. We could see it in practice.
Yeah, like the way we wanted to play, like up and down, you know what I'm saying, push the fast break and just run. And it was just like we were playing at the park, like when we were young. And, you know, it's the best style for me and for you and for all of us at the time.
Yeah, it was. And so we I was fortunate after a couple of guys got kicked off the team, and then I was the only 4-man left available. But I mean, that was small ball before small ball was really that popular. Like, they've been doing it at Wisconsin, Milwaukee. Our boy Mark Pankratz, you know, is playing some 4 for Wisconsin, Milwaukee, and so it was kind of a 2-point guard lineup. Had some awesome moments, but I got to put down what I know or talk to you about what all Vol fans want to hear is the Winthrop play, and I'll share my side of it. So, you know, it was we were tied, right? It was tie game. It was a 15 seed Winthrop against 2 seed us, and we were overseeded. Like we had a great body of work, but we were going downhill towards the end of the year. We were probably 4 or 5 seed, and we were playing like that game too. But so Bruce is drawing up the play, and I'm going to take the ball out. And it was a back pick for a lob for Andre at the rim was like option 1. So just over at the rim, there's 2 seconds left for the lob dunk. And then the second option was you coming off the screen.
Yeah, major.
All I can tell you is our slogan that year, now I love Andre, who's my roommate, but our slogan as a team was deserved victory that year. And as soon as coach drew up the play and I knew the ball was in my hands to throw the pass, I was like, I ain't throwing that ball to Dre. 2 seconds left with the tournament on the line. I got to go to my gym rat because sorry, Dre, I can't go to you. So, yeah, you take us through what transpired on that play and what you remember.
Just I knew I was going to shoot it regardless. Whoever was on me, I was going to get this shot off. It was NCAA. This is what you dream of as a kid. NCAA tournament, game winner. I had nothing to lose. We were tied, so it wasn't like we were down one. I was like, I'm in the perfect situation. If I miss, we go to overtime. If we win, I'm on top 10. It was perfect. So, you gave me the pass, and I just turned around and shot it. People try to say I walked, but I took 2 steps. That's not a walk,
Are you, even when you rewatch that, are you still amazed? Like, I've seen freeze frames of, like, just your angle, like you're falling back, guys all over you. Are you still blow your mind when you see those angles?
It does. Just the angle of the shot and how, he was right there, hand up, contested. He played the, perfect defense, and it still went in. It was just – I was just like – that's from the, all those times in the gym extra.
It was. And then and we were fortunate because, you hit it, but there was still time left on the clock.
Yeah, I know. Yeah.
So you tell me what you're thinking.
I was like, it didn't end the way I wanted to because I wanted the buzzer to sound, So I'm like, I shot too early.
No, I'm talking about how we're lucky we didn't get a technical.
Oh, were people running on the court? Oh, hold on.
Yeah, so
Stan ran on the court. Remember Stanley?
Charging the court. He came charging. We had 6, 7 guys on the court, and they're about to take the ball out. So, all your heroics, man, if the refs would have just called because Winthrop hadn't called a timeout yet. We're storming the court, and there's still a second or 2 left. And I remember us watching the replay back at the hotel, like, oh my God, they would have called a tech because they would have had 2 free throws and the ball at half court.
Would have been bad. Yeah. I remember Stanley on the court. I'll never forget that.
Oh man. So you live for the moment, and probably no other greater individual moment than the fans love to talk about the Kevin Durant shot. Yeah. What was going through your mind there? Was it, I know you love the ball in your hands, but was it also going through your mind that I got it in the heat of the moment here? This is where I want it as a crunch time, but it's also exactly who I want to guard me.
It was just at the time, you said we needed a bucket, and when we needed a bucket, Dane, I don't know, I wanted the ball. I didn't want nobody else to, I wanted that moment. I just lived for those moments. Those are the times, the early mornings, the late nights in the gym that I would, prepare for. Just, being I wanted my teammates to be like, oh, if we need a bucket, I can count on Chris. I'm gonna do whatever I can to give him the ball. So, I live for those moments. And, like you said, it was shot clock was running down. We needed a bucket, and I got the ball. Coach called, 2 up the play, and I knew I had to, make a play.
Is it one of those your favorite play over the other? What's your all-time greatest play that you feel like you had at Tennessee?
My greatest play? Yeah, those 2 probably the greatest play for sure. Those 2 probably the greatest plays.
Yeah. Well, they, what I don't know if a lot of fans realize, you don't talk trash at all on the court.
Right. Never.
I had a couple teammates at East Tennessee State, or former high school teammates at East Tennessee State. We played them. I remember after the game, they were on the bus and they were texting me or calling me. They're like, is something wrong with CeeLo? Like he doesn't talk at all. And so if anybody's seen the movie Life with Eddie Murphy and Martin Lawrence, there's the star baseball player called Can't Get Right. Like he's mute. He can't say anything, but he's out there just balling. And so they're like, yeah, everybody on our team calls Chris Can't Get Right. But I remember you telling me a story I need you to share with others of how you came to be where you just don't talk trash at all.
Yeah, man. Like if it's a real game, like I'm not talking trash. Like pickup, like with my boys, that's different. You know what I'm saying? Real game, it just had bad luck, man. I forget what game it was. I started talking, like I was in my bag. I was feeling it. And I started talking. I don't think I made a shot the rest of the game. And I'm just like,
this is like Little League or?
No, I think it was. When was it?
A high school thing or?
It might have been a college game, actually.
Yeah.
It might have been a college game. I'm trying to think. It was early.
There was some. All I know is you told me you tried to talk trash once and didn't hit a shot, and you were like, "I'm never."
Yeah. Not my game, you know.
So we go from and now you're keep the timeline going here, but Bruce's first year, and then the Ohio State game. Of course, that's the one that just haunts me forever. You know, my final game. And we were up 17 at half. But I also tell people, I'm like, look, we beat Kevin Durant in Texas. We were down like 17 and a half. That was just how we played. Like we could go on a 15-0 run, but we could give that up too. And I mean, Mike Conley and Greg Oden were no joke.
Bro, they were so good. Especially Greg Oden. I don't think people realize how much a beast he was in college.
He was out there. He was and he was money, like left-handed free throws. He had the bad wrist. Yeah, I mean, everything. Yeah, he was. And we could not guard the Mike Conley ball screen for any. And what's crazy is Mike Conley was good, but he was probably going back for his sophomore year.
Yeah.
And then after they beat us, he just was great up until the championship game. He became, I don't know, lottery pick for the Grizzlies, 6, 7 pick, whatever it was. And so always reliving that one. But what's kind of is there a game that just kind of haunts you or you relive all the time?
That one for sure.
It's that one. Yeah. I mean, I know that wasn't your senior year, but that's the one. I don't know about you. I would have rather lose by like 10.
Yeah, that one. That was the worst. Like, I don't like talking about it. People still bring it up. I'm like, let's just.
Have you ever watched it?
No, I would not.
No, thank you. And people ask me what was it like going back and watching that. I was like, I'm never watching that.
Yeah.
Ever. If I see one missed rebound or one missed shot, I'm going to be just blaming myself even more.
Right. I would never watch that game again.
All right. A little bit more somber tone here, but correct me if I'm wrong, but if it wasn't for that game though, where there was the, they do the random drug testing.
Yeah.
But that became a discovery for you. Yeah. If you can share with everybody what you went through there.
Yeah, I just got picked for a random drug test, failed it, and, found out that I was diagnosed with cancer. So, like we lost, but thank God I had to take that test because it saved my life, So
it's unbelievable. I remember talking with Chad Newman, our trainer, and he knew of the failed test like during the game.
Yeah, he knew before.
Okay, yeah, before the game. So he's sitting there kind of in agony, like, I hope nothing's wrong physically with you. But at the same time, he was worried to death, like, did we give him some banned substance in one of his drinks or whatever? So, all of a sudden he's like, now Chris Lofton suspended for the Elite Eight, which is the best kid in the world for that to happen to. But unfortunately, it was the worst. And so, and you kept that so close to the vest. I mean, Jordan Howe, one of our great teammates and one of your best friends, you let him know about it. But other than that, it was really just family. I only knew about it because I had heard that you were at the hospital, and I was kind of like asking around. I was like, Chad, what's up with Chris? I heard he was and then they were like, dang, quit asking. Here's why.
Yeah.
If you can, just, because again, for all the fans, I mean, I pride myself on trying to be the hardest worker on the team. at all times, it's, something you can control. Nobody has ever pushed me harder than you. I'll never give you credit for being a harder. But you were the guy, like, I'd hear you dribbling or doing your 2-ball dribbles before practice, and you got there before me, and I was like, damn, now I gotta stay later. I can't let Chris log more hours.
Dave, you remember that day? I don't know if you remember that day. He was like, I think we had a game the night before, and I think your class coach, you were off that day. He was like, I'm gonna get up early in the morning. I'm gonna get a good workout in. You know what I'm saying? I'll be the first one. And you say you get there and I'm already working out. You're like, damn, like, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I mean, we'd have a text going back and forth or whatever. And so you would pass me if I was shooting. I'd be feeling good about myself. You're like, oh no, I already got a workout on with Coach Shea at 6 a.m. But have fun with your little 7 a.m. workout. But I say all that because your dedication and your work ethic, and so much of that is done in the off season, to where, I mean, I know the health was such a tough thing to overcome, the battle itself, but how about just the mental battle of not being able to prepare like you normally do in the off season? That feeling of not being.
I feel like that was the worst part of my senior year, not being myself, because I come off my junior year, I'm second team All-American, SEC Player of the Year. So, my senior year, I'm expecting like take it to a whole nother level. And me, diagnosed, I couldn't work out in the summer like that. I lost all those 20 pounds and just, it just didn't click. I didn't click.
But how bad was it? How tough was it though? Like, because I was in Holland at the time, and so like Twitter hadn't started yet, but Facebook, and you still had message boards, like, because you didn't tell anybody. Like, some people out there thought like, oh, Chris Lofton's thinking about the NBA because he's not playing as well, or he didn't work as hard.
Right.
Like, did you read any of that stuff? Did it bother you? Did you just like want to just have a post-game press conference and be like, look, guys, this is what I'm going through?
Not really. I try to not pay attention to any of that stuff. Like, I try to just stay away from it. Good thing social media wasn't out like it was now. Like, I wouldn't be able to hide from it. I would see it everywhere. So it was good that I didn't, like, paying attention to the papers or seeing anything.
Yeah, with social media, it had just started coming out, I guess, like our freshman, sophomore year, and Facebook, like, and like there's a Dane Bradshaw Blows Facebook group, and it had a lot of members, like a lot.
A lot of members.
Yeah, you got to stay away from the social media. I remember one of my friends actually called, like, because at the time it had like somebody's number associated with it, and they called him, and it was like, yo, like, what are you doing that? And the guy was actually just very civil. He was like, no, it's not that I dislike him. I just don't think he plays basketball very well. That's all. And that was like the end of it. And my friend hung up. He was like, actually, he seems like a really nice guy. I think I'm going to join his group. He's got a point. You got to stay away from the social media. But, the courage you showed there and battling through all that was absolutely remarkable, of course. And I know Brooks Savage helped put together, along with Coach Pearl, the Outlet program at UT with that. I still want to go back to just playing through that, because it was, if I'm not mistaken, I think Chris Lowe of ESPN, like, he found out at some point during the season, I think, and held the story out of respect until it came out, I think, around the Kentucky game that year. Was it a relief for you to know that the rest of the world knew and you didn't have to kind of keep it a secret anymore?
It didn't come out until after the season, like, publicly. But like, Chris Lowe found out somehow, and I remember him meeting with me, and I just asked him, I was like, man, can you just wait till after the season? I don't want to bring no distractions to my team. At the time we were top 3 in the country, and we were playing well, and I didn't want to bring that attention to myself. Like, I just wanted to, just focus on the team at the time. That's
right, because I remember Chad and some other people I talked to in confidence during that time, they felt like, even though thank you for correcting me, even though the story wasn't public, just the fact that you knew a reporter, somebody else knew what was going on with you, and that the story would eventually be told at your choosing of time. But another compliment to you, because I hear you all the time talk about the Memphis UT game being your favorite game you've ever played at Tennessee?
For sure.
Not necessarily your best individual game.
No, one of my worst. But just the
fact
atmosphere.
that you still name that as one of your best games.
Oh yeah, the atmosphere, like man, that atmosphere, number one versus number two, like it was like that whole road trip. You know, we get there Friday night, we go to the Grizzlies game. We, you know, like the hotel lobby is just packed, Memphis fans, Tennessee fans. So that whole trip was the best.
Yeah, I was overseas at the time, and even people in Holland would like see the T logo. They're like, "Oh, big game tonight." I'm like, "Man, everybody knows about this matchup." That was nuts, man. It had everything. It had the Pearl versus Calipari, and just the Willie Kemp over there at Memphis, and they've been recruiting, and just the and number one, number two, which was and it became a Super Bowl, and Beale Street can certainly vouch for that. Looking ahead now to the current Tennessee team, have you been back and played it with them at all? I
haven't been back in a while, and then the virus hit, so yeah, I'm sure probably not letting people in, I would say.
Yeah, what when you have gotten back last couple of years being around Barnes and the team, I mean, has Barnes exceeded your expectations, or did you think he'd get it done like this?
I always knew he could get it done. Just his track record, at Texas, he always had a great teams and great winning percentages. So I knew he would, he was a great hire, and just being able to be around him and watch practices, like he really cares about the team. He really cares about the players. Like he makes you like work hard.
I've never seen somebody. I've never seen a coach, and he'll be the first to tell you he's evolved over time. When I've gone to some of the practices, I've never seen a coach like just flip that switch from being so competitive in practice to where like immediately when the practice is over, it's just joking, like joyful, like, and now he's still going to say, all right, hey, you're going to go shower, you're going to get some shots up. You missed 15 layups, But the way he turns it off is on and off is pretty remarkable. And I've got a chance to see their scrimmage, man. These young guys are the real deal, I think. I'll put a little pressure on.
I've read a lot about them, so I'm hoping to get down there and see soon.
Yeah. Well, I'll wrap you up with a couple more things real quick here. What we talked about your Winthrop play, your Kevin Durant play. What's the best individual play that you feel like nobody talks about?
Best individual play
or shot. I mean, look, it's shot. It wasn't a pass. It wasn't like a defensive.
Well,
you hadn't had like any of those.
I was going to say my steal against Florida gave it to you for the layup for the game winner. Did you forget that?
You know what? I do have you to thank for that. So you get the steal. And I got to give Jordan a lot of credit. I mean, Jordan Howe comes and hunts down Corey Brewer, forces him to give it up. You make the steal. I feel like, though, when I watch that replay, even though I'm wide open by myself 2 feet away from the goal, you hesitated on that pass. Look,
I did not hesitate.
Watch the replay. You're dribbling, and you're kind of like I like Dane, but he doesn't make a lot of shots. This might be too much for him. Wide open, nobody around me, 2 feet from the goal. Unfortunately, you got it to me in the nick of time. So, but I tell you that, the Tennessee fans are great to always relive the Florida games with me, because we went down later that year and swept them in Gainesville, where I was lucky enough to make a play and get a layup there. But in all seriousness, I never forget, though, I put us up 2 with those buckets, but we had to go down and get a stop. We got the stops, and then they had to foul us. And it was always you in both games that they fouled, and you went down and just cool, calm, collected, knocked down 2 free throws to ice the game. That nobody ever talks about that. Nobody ever talks about the 2 free throws to ice the game. But if those were my 2 free throws, I'd be like, that was the play of my career. I iced the game, put us up 4, so okay, so I'll give you that. You got to give me one more shot that's the least talked about. I got one in my mind.
Another shot. Let me think.
How about from like 45 feet at Vanderbilt?
Okay, yeah, that's one of my favorites. That's one of my favorites too.
I don't even think that one was like on live TV. That's like on a YouTube clip or something. But
yeah,
it was.
That was kind of a bad shot when I look at it. When I see replays of it, I was like, I don't know, like it wasn't even like the shot clock wasn't winding. We still had time on the shot clock. It was just like, I'm just like, I don't know what was going on.
I think I was to the left. We'll have to get them to lay the play over the podcast if they can. I think I was over to the left there, but I remember you pulling from deep. And in my mind, I was like, damn, CeeLo, we're doing it like that. We still got like 7 seconds on the clock. And sure enough, we went in and we had them.
Yeah.
My last question for you. I think I know the answer here. Who was your favorite team to play against? And two-parter, and favorite place to play?
Favorite team to play against? I like playing against Kentucky, of course, and I like playing against Florida.
Yeah. You know, I see if you agree with me on this. I think there's no greater place to win, and we got to do it once, than Rupp Arena, just because it can get so loud in there. And then at the end of the game, like the only thing you hadn't been able to hear all game is your own bench, and at the end of the game, the only thing you can hear is your own bench. Yeah,
like it's a different atmosphere. Like it's like I love Rupp. That's where I played my state tournament for high school. So
yeah,
I played a lot of games in there, so that was always a special place for me. And I love playing against Florida. Those teams were so good with Noah, Horford, Brewer.
I would rather play Florida at Florida than at home. I mean, playing at Florida, no disrespect to Tennessee fans, but it was just, I mean, the things they'd say about you, they had pictures of my sisters in the
I was about to say, they had pictures of your sister on shirts.
Yeah. And there was like and the other reason I say I like playing down there is at the time before they renovated, there was like the aquatic center next door. So like it was hot and humid and muggy.
Get a good sweat in, like it was perfect.
Like, everybody was dunking in warm-ups, like feeling good, and then they would say things that they just made it personal and made it more fun. And I missed that from the Rowdy Reptiles, man.
Yeah, they was talking about your sister because they talked about my mom to me. I was like, damn, like.
I remember you came up to me because I came out of the locker room and you were like, you were kind of pissed off, and you're like, but then as soon as I saw that they had your sister all through the stands, I was like, man, I ain't got it bad as Dane does, so guess I'm good.
Hey, Dane, speaking of free throws, do you remember who was it we were playing? Virginia. Do you remember you playing in Virginia? What you said to me? Do you remember what you said to me? You was like, because I think I know where you're going. And they would trap me and I would throw it back to you. He's like, man, keep it. Make them foul you.
You know what? And I don't want to see, I'm glad you brought that up. I don't know that we've ever talked about that. We're going to take a few extra minutes here. Sweet 16, or to go to the Sweet 16, we're playing Virginia. Yeah. And they're in a position where they got to foul us. I'm taking the ball out of bounds. You want your best pass or worst free throw shooter taking the ball out. Coaches out there. And so I inbound to you, I don't know, maybe the first time you get it, they foul you, they take it down. And maybe we did that a second time. Anyway, we're on maybe our third time here. But I knew they were leaving me to trap you.
Yeah.
And in your mind, you're like, all right, Dane's the open man. I was just step ahead because I know what they were doing. They were saying, don't foul, make him pass back to that dude taking it out so we can foul the bad free throw shooter. So I'm saying, don't pass it back. We need you on the line. Look,
just hold it.
Hey, it's not that I was scared to shoot him. It's that I was absolutely horrified and frightened to shoot him. I needed you to keep the ball, man. And was it the right call?
It was the right call.
You were kind of mad. You were like, damn, Dane. You were like, damn, Dane. I was like, damn, what? Like you shoot 80%. I shoot 50.
Yeah, I just now thought of it because I remember you telling me right there in the game, just keep it. You was like, keep it, keep it.
Hey, I wasn't running from it, man. I got your back, but I had to. It was a pure strategy coaching decision on my part. I had to be the coach on the floor because you know what would have happened? You pass it back to me, they foul me, I go 0 for 2, we lose, and guess what's happening in the front room? Hey, Chris, next time you got to keep that ball, make them foul you. That's what would have happened. So you just listen to me on that part. I know my role. All right, man. This has been fun. Been too long. Any last parting words you want to say to Vol Nation?
I really hope our team gets better, gets clear from this virus so we can start playing.
We got to get to that Final Four, man.
Yeah, I'm ready to watch the Vols start playing. I see college basketball, but it's not the same without Tennessee playing.
That's right. I hear you, man. Well, thanks for joining the first Big Vol'n podcast on the Field of 68 Network. You're the man. Thanks for everything, Chris.